Today's topic is very relatable. We have all been there. We are all there at this point, even at this very point. We are there. So we are talking about friendship, um, like close friendship, not just acquaintances, but close friendships that you have worked on for some time, but then for one reason or another, or no reason at all, this close friendship that you guys had and built over time gets to vanish. In just suddenly, you guys no longer talk, you no longer text, no longer jazz. It seems like you don't have jazz at all. Yeah, so we want to talk about that. As believers, sometimes we want easy things. We can just say, that is God's timing. We say, I moved on because it's a season. It's the season I have to move on. And yet this has been a close friendship that you have been working on. And all of a sudden, without you guys talking, without knowing that the other person may be depending on you for maybe support, emotional support or something like that, you just move on like that. And here at LTA, we are pointing in the direction of this, and we are going to face it. We are going to talk about it and see how to go about this thing, because as you can tell, it's eating us up. Whether we like it or not, we have to address it. But anyway, BIENFAIT, as we start off, we just want to know to know, like, personally, your view for the friends that you've had, the friends that you've kept for a time, and those that you've let go. We just want to know what are some of the reasons that may be unsaid, and they have caused this, because it's something that we have experienced. We know that we have. So according to you, what are some of the things that you could point out and be like, as people, as believers, this is what is not right, this is what is causing this? Yes, please.
Okay, just allow me to welcome some people. Good to see you, Karunji Dennis. I don't know if it's the first time you join here, but good to see you. Pressure, I don't know if it's the first time. I think so. It's the first time I see this name here. Gum, you're welcome. Alain, you're welcome. Yeah, so my name is BIENFAIT. I'm one of the people who serve here, and today I'm co-hosting with my guy, Mata. Yeah, well, personally, I think sometimes it's conflicts, one-sided conflicts. Like, you are friends so close, and things happen, and then there is like, you might not know that you have done something wrong to someone, or someone who has done something to you, they just decide like to be distant. I'm going to give a scenario. This is just my view.
I am going to need more volume, BIENFAIT. More volume.
Hey, you come, BIENFAIT, help me with 20K, okay? And then you say like you're giving back after 1 week. I don't know if you intentionally fail to pay, or sometimes because you are friends, you can pay other people back. But since like, I will not be hard on you on something like that, it takes time for you not to pay. And at a certain point, you just decide, no, like, you just say, like, this causes you not to text me, because you realize like maybe the conversation that is going to end is going to start, it will be about his money and stuff. So for me, this is one of the reasons. So then something, but it's normally a one-sided thing, because when you have conflict happen, and the way you deal with it, but it's normally a one-sided thing, and probably the person who gave you the money, he doesn't put it on his heart. For him, it's like, it's normal, it's my friend, what is 20K? And then the person who failed to pay, it feels like he's avoiding the other. So for me, sometimes it's conflict. It can take so many forms, but this is one of the subjects. So for me, sometimes I think it's conflict that one person have maybe or two, they have failed to deal with the situation in a certain better way. So somebody just decides to ghost and to be silent, to be distant, and suddenly you no longer view, or you can view someone, etc. You no longer reply, no longer text. understand it and yeah, that's my view.
Yes. Thank you, Bienfait. So you mentioned conflict, and not just conflict, but one-sided conflict. You know those friendships that we have, and you have a beef on someone. You are mad at them, but then you don't tell them, and it eats you up. It eats you up personally on your end, and for them, they are free. They don't know. So yeah, that could be one. I have experienced that too. One-sided conflict. But then, how do we deal with that? This is an open discussion, so I am going to need feedback from everyone. If you want to say something, you just type in the comment section, and then we'll see, and then we'll give you the space, and you will have a say. But then I am going to go to Goom here, and Bienfait has mentioned something. One-sided conflict. You have something that is eating you up. Someone has done something to you, like money. They took money from you. You gave them money, and you expect it back in 2 weeks, and it's 5 weeks. You're not getting a reply. You're not getting feedback. These guys are not even saying hi. It may be even because they know that they haven't paid, and so they're having that guilt, and they are not responding to your messages or getting into your DMs. But then for you don't tell them that it's hurting, and for you, you're just there eating it up. So how do we deal with this, Goom? I just want to hear from you on this one. Have you experienced it before?
Thanks. Thank you, Mata. Thank you, Bienfait, for having me on this call. Thank you so much. I'm just at the back of the church, upstairs, so there's a movie ongoing at the church, so my background is not so calm. But yeah, nevertheless, I made it for the call. Thank you so much, guys. 100% thank you. Well, Bienfait said something very, very profound. I like it. I like what he said. I was keen to listen in because I knew Matt was going to ask me on the same matter. But anyway, I love is it the title of today's discussion? I love it because just like friends can become strangers, strangers can also become friends. It may sound odd, but that is it. Just like friends can become strangers, strangers can as well become friends. So what Bienfait is trying to say, for me, I feel like it's failure to commit. The friendship is there. The friendship is there, right? But there's no commitment. You know, somebody has said, "Hey, lend me some money. I'm gonna pay back. You know, I'm gonna pay back this time. You know," and then they have not committed. You know, and then, I mean, somebody is mad. Somebody is crossed.
Yeah.
But Martha is asking for my response to this. This is what I would do. I would take it personal. I would first of all extend grace to that person. It is never easy to do some of these things. But if you love Martha or if you love Bienfait and they have gone this extra mile, you know, because today we're talking about friends becoming strangers. Now, that is one of the things that people become strangers. You know, you decide to push somebody away. You know, you decide to stay far. You decide to, you know, mute their calls, you know, mute their statuses and all of that. And man, you are breeding bitterness on your end. And by being bitter, it is eating you up. I mean, Bienfait doesn't know about it. Mother doesn't know about it. You know. And by extending grace, this is what I'm trying to say. Like, how many times has Goom done it? Like, Mata, how many times have I done it? Bienfait, how many times have I not paid back your money? How many times? You know, we have come a long way of like 5, 6, 7, 10 years, not for 2 weeks of money just to set us apart. I don't even try to get this, you know. We are now putting 5 years experience of friendship or 5 years of bonding to 2 weeks of borrowing money. And I failed to do it. And these are material things. I mean, we raise our hands at church and we say these are material things. And here we are. It has put us in a place whereby we are losing more. There's more to money. There's less to money than the friendship. Friendship offers more than the money. You know? And you're asking yourself, how many times has your friend done this to you? Now that you are building you're building a house. How many times have they done it? You know, for you to push them away. But also, as you ask yourself that question, how many times have done it to you? Ask yourself, have you ever done it to somebody? What was their response to you?
Yeah.
Have you ever done it to somebody? Have you ever borrowed and failed to pay back? Have you? Because so many times we point, you know, and then we judge. We do not extend grace, and then we lose or do something that God wants for us. Because what the enemy wants is to bring confusion, and sometimes that's the way he does it, to bring confusion. Like, look, Gum has not paid back your money matter. Like, chill that guy. Like, chill him. Yet, by the way, Gum can help you, give you some tip to some different stuff. That's more than money.
Yeah.
That's more than money. So, here is the thing. Extend grace. That's my solution. Why? Ask yourself, as Gum, as Mata, have you also been in the same situation that right now BIENFAIT is in?
Yes.
Have you been in that situation? You know, have you failed to pay back that person? And if you have ever failed back to pay a person, what were your reasons? You know, sometimes you were stuck. Sometimes you had to, just because, and because Mata is my friend, sometimes I forego Mata, not because I am being manipulative, but I'm like, Mata can easily understand me. Let me pay back this person. Let me clear back this debt. Mata will wait, you know. But here I am, somebody who have lived it for the past 5-10 years, he's failing to understand me. He's failing to extend grace to me. He's failing to accommodate me. I mean, that place is dangerous. That's why I feel like that's why we become strangers. Like, we just become strangers.
Yes, I'd like to jump in right there, Gum, before you go on, because you mentioned that sometimes we are not fully committed, and like I said, as believers, we want always the easy route, and you want the friendship. When it goes down, you're like, God's timing. But sometimes we must question the commitment, and so we are going to take off some time and talk about the commitment, because we are talking about close relationships, and Gum mentioned something very important, giving them that grace of imagining if it's money or if it's something that they have done. How many times have they done it? Have you done it? What were your reasons? Could they be the same reasons they have? That's why we go back to what BIENFAIT's point was of conflict, one-sided conflict. You have to, because there has to be a commitment. This is a close relationship. It's a close friendship. There has to be, the conflict doesn't have to be one-sided. Take it to them. Take the conflict to between you, and then find a solution. Give them the grace and then the commitment. But then there could be a question of grace, giving them the grace once, twice, and then they take it for granted. Those things happen. And by the way, if you've just joined in, you're very welcome. This is an open discussion, and we started a few minutes ago. You're very welcome. And I just want to go back to BIENFAIT right here on the question of commitment. Do you think as believers we take these friendships for granted? Because like I said, the thing of it's God's timing, and I have to move on. It doesn't matter. I have to cut them off, something like that. Is it a question of commitment? What do you think? What do you think is our stand to commitment as believers? And sometimes it cuts across from friendships to relationships to work-related stuff to, like you mentioned, borrowing money, and then you're not committed at all to pay, like you said, something like that. So what do you think? Where do you think we stand when it comes to commitment in friendships?
Well, I think commitment is key, even in friendship, not just in dating relationships and stuff. I think I think commitment is what makes even some weird friendships to last longer. Well, because when two people are committed, I love what Boom said. It's like, if you love the friendship so much, you will not play mind games. I think sometimes you like to play mind games. You know, when it's starting to be a distant thing, we wait, like they have to text fast, yeah. They have to reach out fast and stuff. But when you love someone, you don't have to play mind games and stuff. You don't have to. You sometimes you just allow humility. Yeah, it is humility that causes you to be like, yes, this person has probably decided to stay away from me for one reason or another. It is the humility that tells you like, I think I should reach out and we just talk things. Yeah. And then because you are so committed to the friendship that you are like, yeah, maybe a reason can come and probably we should be no longer friends and stuff, but you are so committed that you don't want something so casual to put the thing that Guma said that has been built for years and suddenly to just break off. So it is him, and then it's what causes you like to stay committed to this person. You are like, I am not going to allow this thing to happen just like that. I'm going to show my. That's how you play your part, and that's how you show that you are committed.
Part, that's important.
Yes. So someone who is committed is like, I'm going to try. At least I'm going to try, because many people, as soon as they get something like bad, I love what Gum said. Gum said something very important. And what came to my mind is like, there are actually good things about this person. Remember they remember the time they have helped you, because in this context where someone is in one-sided conflict and stuff, it's not okay. I think to just say that let them be and stuff. I think before you reach to a point like you have made up your mind and you have accepted the situation, I think for you to show commitment, you'll be like, at least I've tried once, twice, or thrice, not just live like, just let it go like that. I think when you have commitment, you can go beyond and above.
All right.
Unless the person, yeah.
All right, thank you. And we have tackled commitment, and it's very important. You mentioned something very key: playing your part. Never get tired of playing your part. It is friendship. It is a two-way. It is a two-way thing. It can never go one way. So you have to play your part. If you feel like you're not getting the energy, ask them why. And then if according to the answer they give you, according to the response, then you can know the way forward. We cannot sustain these friendships if we just assume that this person is maybe thinking like this. It is a relationship. We need to talk. We need to have grace for each other. We need to understand. Sometimes some of us are not understanding. Go mention that we are very judgy as believers. We are like, no, you know what? Yeah, those things. And so this is an open discussion. So if you feel like you want to say something, you can let us know that you want to, and then we will let you. But for now, I feel like we've been talking a lot. Guys have been talking a lot, but I want to let in someone. Let me let in Businje. I think Businje, are you able to talk? I just want to let you in here on the issue of grace, and then giving our friends a grace. Gun called it grace. Giving them what is it called? Treating them with leniently, giving them some grace to do some things as friends close to you, giving them the opportunity to fail and then get back up. We are not perfect. You give them that space for error and making mistakes and then coming back. So I just want to hear from a lady's point of view. What is your take on us as young people, believers at that? Are we very good at giving chances of mistakes, or we are very judgy? What is your say on that? Businje, if I could hear from you.
Hello, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, loud and clear.
My network is not so good. Okay. About giving grace, really, like you said earlier, some people do take the grace for granted. But on the other hand, naturally, humans, we are quick to point fingers, we are quick to judge.
we tend to end things before we even hear the other person's side of the story.
I'm failing to get you, but I think I have got the idea.
Acting though we are acting, why is the fault? We tend to point fingers and we forget that most of the time the things that lead to a friendship or relationship ending are usually both sides.
Yeah.
We have to, okay, our expectations from people are way too high. They fail us the first time.
Traces that sometimes.
Yeah, so I'm saying our expectations from people are high, and we forget that they're also humans. They fall short every day. So you find that
okay. Yes, thank you very much, Alan. Thank you for your contribution. So she says that sometimes we are very quick to judge others, and as LTA we are speaking from the context of believers, and so sometimes as believers we are very quick to judge. We do not understand, we expect that. Thank you very much, Karunji Dennis, for your contribution. He says, so as we talk about giving others grace and not rushing to end friendships, I have a question. What if you are the friend that is being treated as a stranger? How do you approach that? Yes, we will get to that. And the topic is friends that have become strangers. When you are the one that is receiving the judgment or the cold shoulder, how do you respond? Yes, we will get to that. Dennis, keep on. I'll let Gum say what he wanted to say. Yes, Gum.
Matter Beyonce mentioned something that I just want to put it this way, that that commitment can never coexist or can never be successful in the presence of ego. Once we are egocentric, it can never be successful. Can never be successful.
Yeah,
until we put our pride down and acknowledge that, hey, by the way, I need this, the scripture actually, what is it? Colossians 3:12-13, if I can just paraphrase it, says that therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you has a grievance against someone, forgive as the Lord forgave you. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. Something like that. Then Alan, I think this answers Alan, like sometimes people abuse grace. Just for me, once she mentioned that, I remembered this scripture of Colossians 3:12-13, and I'm like, what if God also says that about us? Like they're abusing my grace, would we still be on planet Earth? Like, would we still be on planet Earth? But also, I want you guys to remember that sometimes, or in most cases, the place of death or the place of destiny resembles the place of death. Actually, the place of destiny resembles the place of death. Why they say this? When they're planting a seed, they dig the ground and put the seed. And some people weed, some people do water it and all of that. Now, when somebody is being buried, they dig the same ground, put the dead body, and cover it, and people forget about it. I feel like this answers what we are trying to discuss today. Like the place of destiny resembles the place of death. And for many of us, if we just give up on some of those friendships, man, we're going some weird direction. We need some of those friendships that we are almost letting go. Like I just felt I needed to say that, like, the place of destiny resembles the place of death. We need to be very careful, very discerning. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. I hope you guys are hearing us very well. If you have any network issues, you can let us know, or if our volumes are low, you can let us know. But then I want to get back to BIENFAIT. BIENFAIT, we have mentioned conflict. We have one-sided conflict. We have mentioned giving people grace and being very judgmental. We have mentioned some of those things that have caused conflict and failure to handle it very well. So we just want to know, when we get to the stage, okay, we have known the causes and some of us may want to avoid them, but let's look at a scenario where right now I have a few friends that were very close, like you can say like 7 to 5 years of friendship, and you have worked, invested and in these friendships, but then now you feel like you have given up. You feel like you don't have the energy to do your part, like someone said. So what do we do if you feel like you're a stranger in a friendship, you are an outsider in the relationship, you no longer matter? What do you do as a friend in that kind of situation?
I think that's what my friend in the chat asked, right? Denise.
Pardon?
I think that's what my friend in the chat asked.
Yeah, that's what she
that's
asked.
goes. Okay, I just want to I have seen some people joining in, and I could be wondering, what are you guys talking exactly? When you found us, when we started, we didn't define what is close friendship and stuff. We assumed that all of us at least could be having an idea. So we went straight to what causes people like friends, then they turn into strangers. And so the causes, we talked about conflict, a one-sided conflict, and someone just decides to walk away without letting the other, yet the other one also probably doesn't know what is going on something like that. So if there is someone who probably know why behind this, you could be thinking about that as soon as I finish. And then Gum talked about grace. Like sometimes when someone has done something wrong to you, sometimes you need to extend grace, because there are some friendships like you will never get them somewhere else. Yeah, so when it comes like how do you do, well, this is just my opinion, someone can have something else to say. What do you do when you are the one being treated as strangers? Well, I think for you to reach up to this place, I think a lot might have happened. And I think if you are now being the one treated as a stranger, I think sometimes you need to question your work. Yeah, probably you did something wrong, and you failed to recognize that you did something wrong, and then there are some people who are not set, like they are not ready, like, to deal with conflicts and stuff. So what they do, since you didn't recognize your mistakes and stuff, what they do, they're like, they keep their peace. I don't know if that's the kind of word. They keep their peace. So one of the ways they do that is by treating you as normal people. It's no longer like we are no longer close. In their hearts, they're like, I don't think I need to be close to this kind of guy after all that they have done. So I think you need to know why they are treating you as a stranger. And if it's possible, if you guys can meet, of course you can talk if it's possible. And but I don't think it is good, like you have done something wrong. I don't think it's good to be hard on yourself. Like, when I think what I can say is there is a reason why people behave the way they behave, and this is something that has helped me so much. Whether it's a wrong reason or whether it's a good reason, I believe there is always a reason why people behave the way they behave. So if they are treating you as a stranger, sometimes you need to take it. I know it's hard, but sometimes you need to accept not to be accepted, because there is also danger of trying to force things. Yeah, there is a danger trying to make things work that probably will never work. I don't know if I have answered it. So sometimes You need to know there is a reason why people behave the way they behave. If you know the reason, good, you can talk about. If you don't know the reason, it's fine. But I think also you shouldn't be putting so much blame on yourself, especially if you know you did nothing wrong and stuff. Sometimes you see the way you let some people walk into your life. Sometimes that's the way you just let them probably to walk out. Yeah, and sometimes also they're treating you as a stranger. You think there is something wrong with you, yet probably there is something they're dealing with, and they just feel like they don't want to be close to anyone anymore. Yeah, so I don't know if that has helped Denise, uh, but yeah, so you're welcome, everyone, and we are just right. We're like, what are the causes that push people to suddenly be distant, yet the people that we are so close before? I don't know if Shekinah has something to say on this. What do you think? And probably if you have been in a scenario, I believe all of us have been there, where like the people who were so close to you, sometimes you know the reason why they suddenly become distant, and sometimes you don't know. But what are some of the causes like that push people who are close to you suddenly to be strangers? Yes, Shekinah, can you hear me? Can you speak?
BIENFAIT.
Hi everyone.
I'm coming back to you. Yes.
I hope you are all well, and thank you so much for whatever has been shared so far. And instead of coming back to what has been shared, let me go to my point. So for me, I think the other thing that makes like people like goes like just like someone to walk away in a friendship. In my case, in my experience, I have had a friend for a long time, but for now the relationship is not the way it used to be. Why? Because I work and then she works also somewhere, and but she told me she needed money for her mother, so I offered to give the money to her, but she told me she will pay it back, like she will give it back at the end of the month. So I knew she would. Like I know her, and then I couldn't like bother to give her the money. But when we reached the end of the month, she did not give the money and she did not say anything. So, but I saw another reaction from her like 2 weeks after the end of the month. She wasn't like texting like she used to text before, and even if I would text her, she would reply, but not the way we used to. So I just noticed that there was a change of behavior in her. So for me, I think maybe it was because of the money. Yet for me, it was not really a big deal, and I was not even counting again it. So I didn't want to initiate the conversation. I just decided to observe as well. So my birthday came, and you know how a friend can like compliment your birthday, and so, but I did not feel it. It was just like a word, happy birthday, like someone was not known me for so long. Yet it has been a long friendship. We started for a long time. Now the other thing, I don't know, maybe one of the big cause is dates. When someone, you are friend to someone, and then the other person is unable to pay back the money that you give him or her. So it could be also one of the cause that can make friends become strangers. But we are trying to work. I myself, I don't want to lose it, to lose the friendship. So I'm trying to see how I can work it out and to come back to it. So, but the other thing I wanted to mention uh, is that in life, we have friends that we met like since we were kids. Some other friends we met at school, in churches and wherever. But I just learned something, that there are people that God give us not for our life journey. So there are people come in our lives, maybe for a certain phase in our lives, or maybe just a day or a week or a month, a year, and something like that. So there are certain things that bind us together with certain people, and then when that thing goes, or that phase or session pass by, then uh, we have to learn to let go other people, not because it's a sin, not because of something else, but just because that phase of life is gone and we can't take it back. And that's also one of the reasons that makes like some relationship go cold, because you no longer have what used to bring you together. Some is going something else which makes me busy, and then the other person goes into something else which makes them busy as well. And we know life like it is. So we, I don't know how we can term that, but we have to learn that certain phases of life can make some relationships go cold, not because of really anything or any matter, but just because of that phase has gone, and then we have to move on into something else, and then everyone focuses on something else. So that's what I really wanted to share. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shekaina. So one of the other reasons why friends that we are so close to you become strangers, it is that the season or the part that we are supposed to play in your life has been terminated. Yeah, and sometimes it's after. Sometimes after the reason why God has allowed them to be part of your life is over, I think God will allow those people to probably stay away, and it takes maturity and grace to accept that. Anyway, yes, Goom, briefly, you wanted to say something.
I wanted to answer Denise and just add on to what you shared. I think she raises a very, very important concern. Being on the other end as feeling as a stranger in this perspective. Well, I think Denise feeling as a stranger in this situation is just the signs and symptoms. It's not the root. You need to go down and ask yourself, what are the roots? What has caused this? What has brought all this that today I'm not feeling as a stranger in this relationship or in this friendship? Why am I feeling as a stranger? You need to ask yourself, what is the root cause? Because that feeling is just merely signs and symptoms of what is happening to your friendship or to your relationship. But also ask yourself, is Denise still interested in this relationship or this friendship? Then sit down and evaluate. Has it been a win-win? Some of the things. Ask yourself the hard questions. But also with maturity, reach out to them. Reach out to them and ask what's up. Like what's up? What's happening? You've been my person for this long. Like why is this feeling? I feel this. Is it the same on your end? What I normally do with people is I offer you tea. I offer you coffee or tea. We just go hang out. There's power in food, by the way. Just offer somebody something to eat. Take them out. They will definitely open up to you. They will. Just take them out, offer them on your bill, and tell them, hey, let's talk about this. I honestly value this, and I feel going down the drain. What's happening? I feel a stranger in something that I feel like we have cultivated over time right now. So it's, for me, it's not treating the signs and symptoms, but going down and asking yourself, hey, what has caused this? But also evaluation, then reaching out to them. Reaching out can be like inviting them over over tea, and you hang out over coffee, depending on, and you talk stuff out. But I would advise that never ever move out of a friendship or a relationship without telling somebody, without talking it out. It's a mature perspective. Rejection isn't a bad thing. Actually, for me, I feel rejection is very good, because nobody be in a place whereby they're not appreciated, their value is not, out there. Like never. You don't want to be in that place whereby you are appreciated, but you want it to be clear, like, hey, by the way, I don't appreciate this. I feel I'm this direction. I feel we are two different people. Is it okay we part ways? You know, but because you have also cultivated that friendship over time, even if you moved on from each other, I mean, you still know my likes, you still know my dislikes, you still know my dreams, because once we shared a platform, once I shared with you my dreams, once I shared with you my secrets, it doesn't hurt for Denise to call Kum and say, Kum, by the way, there's this job advert. Kum, by the way, there's this concert that you normally talked about this artist. Now they're here. You know, I thought you could know about it. I thought you would know about it, you know, something like that. You get just like we still give directions to strangers. I mean, you still need to give directions to friends. You don't close them out fully, but I mean, now that your path has changed, I mean, you appreciate it. Thanks.
Hi. Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Just a moment, Jeremy.
Okay, cool.
So we can hear you. Yes, Daphne. Thank you, Goom. That was awesome. Never leave a friendship or never let it to just go away. I think even relationship, by just being silent all of a sudden, yeah, it's good that you find the reason, and probably it can help you even to avoid it in the next friendship or in the next relationship, because sometimes you can call and you talk, and at the end of the day the things just don't work, and like Shekinah said, maybe the season is over, something like that, but you need to find the reasons, because it will help you even the relationships or friendships that are yet to come. Yes, Daphne, you wanted to say something.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all for sharing, because these are really yeah. So for me, another reason as to why friends could become strangers is when beliefs, yeah, what you actually believe in at times can cause that gap. I don't know, because now personally, I have a friend that I've really been close to, like too close, and problem comes in when this person now begins to have wrong doctrine. You get, and I'm wondering, oh my god, like I know other people around me also kind of have this wrong doctrine, but I don't. Okay, not to be mean, but I don't care as much about them as I do this person. You get, so I'm like, okay, I think I really have to actually speak to her and tell her this is wrong according to me, because I've actually ABCD. Yeah? And when I do that, it kind of makes us, how should I say, like, okay, at first it was okay, but then when the more she got deeper in this doctrine, I'm like, this is so wrong, like, you get, but I think I finally just gave up, but it left her feeling like, I think, why is this girl against what I believe in, what, the things, and somehow, somewhere we became strangers. Yeah, so, and I tried, like the times I've tried to maybe let me okay ignore. If when I'm like I can't ignore this, but yeah, I've tried to like ignore it and be like, okay, let me not base our friendship on like this doctrine and all those things, on all these things. But then yeah, so I decided. Yeah, so I decided to just chill and just pray about this, yeah. And slowly by slowly, actually, we've begun talking again, yeah. So at times wrong doctrine, also not just wrong doctrine, but the beliefs, because at times you need friendships that are actually also going in the same direction, yeah. You may have friends that are really worldly and they don't believe what you believe in, and however much they respect what you believe in, they don't encourage you to actually do what you believe in, and that kind of makes people become strangers, because personally they may believe it's okay to have sex before marriage, and I may believe this is not right, and you get it, and but they will kind of respect what you say, but they will never defend what you believe in. And like the Bible says, two people cannot go, like if people are to move together, yeah, they have, like, if they also they have to move in the same direction. If I tell that you actually be friends, you can't be moving in one direction and another direction, and somehow you think you're going to meet in the middle. There's no middle you're going to meet in. You're just going to keep going separate ways. Yeah. Then so I'm talking too much. Then the other reason could be, okay, at times in some friendships, times when you're like really close to some people, you tend to ignore you tend to ignore whatever like tiny things come up. You like somehow you don't want to mess up that friendship, so you ignore. Or if they do something wrong, you'll be like, anyway, I'll get over it. It's something tiny, and those tiny things keep building up in the relationship, and before you know it, like something very tiny will just spark off a whole, I don't know, argument, and next thing you know, you guys are strangers because you failed to actually solve these issues when they were still like below, when they're still at the grass, when they're just beginning. Now it's someone's character, and it's like as if you can't do anything about it. Yet before, if you actually talked about the thing when that happened, you would not be strangers. Yeah. And yeah, because okay, there are also times when all the things will happen and you'll try to reach out. Because now, personally, I have a friend that I've also been close to, but I think this year we kind of fell out, and it looks like it's for good because we tried to like we had that issue of ever talking about any conflicts that would come up. Yeah? Like something bad would happen, like oh, should do something bad or do something bad, and then you just sleep on it and be like, it's okay. Next day, wake up and your friends again, like no one mentions it or corrects you or anything. You just want to keep the friendship, and you forget you're actually not keeping it, but rather breaking it. So I learned you should actually solve every issue. Like, do not ignore. Like, it's okay to correct your friend. I mean, that's what friends are for, yeah? You don't have to ignore it and somehow think you're being a good friend. You have to actually speak about it and be like, hey, you did this and I do not think I appreciate it. How about in the future I actually did this, and this, yeah? Not seeing someone do something wrong and then you're like something bad to you, and then you just repress the hurt you feel, and you're like, anyway, it's okay, let me chill. Maybe I'm just taking offense, and then you chill. Yeah, there is also that. Then at times your love will just be ignored because of that. It's okay for people to not want to be friends with you anymore. Like, it's actually very fine. Because I realized at times you may want a friendship so bad that you forget that God is a friend of all, yeah? Like God brought this person in your life, and he is faithful enough to actually give you someone else in case this person feels like they just want nothing to do with you anymore. And yeah, there was a time when people deal with so many things and they feel like if at all they to begin saying what they are going through, that you're going to see them as a burden, and so they will become strangers. You'll try to find out and may come off as rude to you, and so you will think, this girl is rude, this person is so that, yet they're really going through so much and they just want someone to, like, even if you don't like necessarily over be on them, like just tell them, hey, I'm praying for you, how are you today? You get like just small checking in, and then when they're actually okay, they'll come back to you. They'll actually come and be like, hey, so I was going through this, but I'm now better. Thank you for sticking around. And that is it. Yeah, like I said, sorry I've taken so long.
Thank you, Daphne. Thank you so much. I love what you said. Like, suddenly, another reason is that you used to go in the same direction probably, and then they suddenly start taking another direction, and this is not something small. Yeah, talked about doctrines and stuff, and that can shake the close friendship that has been there, and it can even bring it to an end. Yes, Jeremy, briefly, and then we'll see as we begin to land the plane. Yes, Jeremy.
I'm all with what the previous speakers have said. Sometimes we get so much offended in that we think that it's us, and sometimes it could be us, given the various backgrounds that we come from, and different sorts of expectations in a relationship. So, like in a scenario whereby both of you guys are having conflicts, communication is very, very much key. As Gum had shared, both of you need to be in the know that you've actually hurt each other, and you need to work through the hurt as a team. Because if now one person decides to work upon it, and then the other person probably chooses not to or doesn't know that they have actually hurt the other person, then it's the same as being pointless in a way, because the relationship can only move forward if both of you have faced what has happened head on, and that comes as a result of communication. And yeah, so um, so sometimes it may, yeah, sometimes anyway, it depends on your on the table that you're at. But regardless, whether you're the one who's feeling a stranger, or you're the one who's making someone feel a stranger, that boils down to some sort of emotional intelligence and observation, um, being in the know, and being conscious that actually, you know what, I've not spent time with this friend of mine, and I think I'm sort of losing this relationship. Let me just take it some time and then go check up on them, and let me just see where they are at. Just to sum everything up, communication is key. If you feel hurt by something, you can't keep putting things. You need to be okay with talking about your feelings, because that's the start of a healing in such a relation, in such a situation. Because you can't keep putting things. You can't keep putting things in a bottle, and then putting on this sort of smiley face that everything is okay. This is just a one-time thing. This is just how he is, and keep thinking that everything is going to be fine. One time, one day, all those emotions are just going to burst out, and then you're going to be shocked by how much you've actually kept inside there. So yeah, communication, honesty, and put let God be the center of everything that you're having. If it reaches a point whereby it's getting if it reaches a point whereby you're both getting very hurt, so just be okay with just put yourself in a situation whereby it's okay to let go, no matter how hard it may be, but it may be for the best.
For the sake of time, I think we probably need to move on. I love what you said. You said sometimes you just need to let go, because we're talking about friends turning into strangers. It is not an easy thing sometimes. Sometimes it is tough. It is not something like you easily like you take it like a good thing, not a bad thing. I love what you say. Like sometimes you need God's grace to actually let. I want to read something here and welcome some of the people, and then so they know where we are. Fanny said something very interesting. Remember, remember who said like never leave. Never leave a friendship, even a relationship, especially that once mattered to you. Never leave it without any reason. And I love so communication is, and this has been like something we have we have had. Fanny said lack of communication basically, as Boom sharing, so the time Boom was sharing, lack of communication causes some friendship to come to an end, because of how some African families used to raise children. There is no platform that allows them to express that allow them to freely express how they feel about things. So definitely they grow in that manner. I love that, because sometimes some people just decide to walk away, yeah, as the way of dealing with the conflict. I love that. I don't know. As we leave this part where what causes some friends suddenly to become strangers. I don't know if there is someone who has something to add briefly. Like, what do you think some friends, or what are some of the causes do you think make some people, some close friends suddenly to be so? We talked about conflicts, we talked about seasons, we talked about some other things, but in case there is something else, and probably in brief, someone will have a chance to jump on that. And the people who have just joined, so we have been right there. Like, what are some of the causes? You're welcome, Fabrice, Fanny. I didn't welcome you guys. Patience, Kyo Mukama, Paul Mugaga, Rachel, and yeah, I think that's it. So as someone mentions in the chat, if they want to say something, I wanted to say I think some of the other causes is that I think it happens a lot. Friends turning into strangers in terms of transitions. Yeah, I think that happens a lot more in terms of transitions. Daphne shared something like so the person is now going to a different direction, like they're into doctrines you don't believe in. I think that person is into a transition, and transition is not as an easy thing. There's some of the friendship that will be dropped, even if they are close. Transitions, it can take many forms. Like someone leaving the country, like you haven't met for 5 years, 10 years. Sometimes it's not easy to still be close the same way you were before. Yeah, transition can be in a place where like you have been the same school and school is over. That can also cause like you guys to be distant and you not even know how that happened. So my and this is the last question or talking point. Like, how do you deal with this? Yeah, some of the things have been shared, but like, how do you deal with this? Is this situation avoidable? Like, can you avoid your close friends coming or turning into strangers? Is it avoidable, or how do you deal with it? Like, in a place where like it has happened, like you don't know what to do. Yeah, in a healthy way. Like, how do you deal with it? Because remember, this is a person you have shared with so much. Yeah, probably they know a lot about you more than other people know. There's a sense of fear. Probably you share deepest things of your life. Like, how do you deal with this? If there is someone who understands what I'm trying to say, please go ahead and.
Yep. All right. Cool. Thank you. So BIENFAIT, my responses are yes and no. Yes and no. Why I'm saying no, we cannot sometimes stop them from becoming strangers is if the common ground or the common goal or the common interest that once got us attracted to each other, as friends, is no longer there. There we can't stay friends. Let me give an example. If we were friends right from maybe junior school, we went to high school, we played on the same team, there's a common goal of football keeping us together, there was that interest keeping us together of football, and we became friends and we went to the same school. Now we're at campus, you're into drugs, you are going clubbing, I'm no longer going with you, I'm staying at the hostel, you're moving out, whether you like it or not, wherever you go, where you're moving out, you'll find friends, you'll find company. And here I am lonely, I will need to seek company elsewhere. So in that scenario, I am now changing company, you are also changing company. It's just happening automatic, where you're going, where your interest has taken you, you found people that are also interested in drinking, you found people that are interested in drugs, you found people that are interested in clubbing, you found them, you can easily tag along with them. Yet your friend here, the whom was once your friend, is not interested in that, is going in for training. You've left training, you've left football. I mean, automatically stuff changes. But also I'm saying yes, we can avoid our friends becoming strangers only if we are intentional and committed to those friendships. If we are intentional and committed to those friendships, yes, well and good, we can keep them, by not giving up on the friends. If we truly, truly, truly value that they have to be our friends, and if we truly value that it's not just transactional, but have to also be transformational, that whatever they do, I can easily influence them to become better because I knew them before they started to do some of these things. I knew them in their good state. Now they have done this way. Can I be transformational? Should it look like I am here to extract something out of them, just to get what they can offer me. It shouldn't be that way. That's why I'm saying yes and no. Thanks.
Yes, Mark.
Okay.
Okay. For me, the question of can we avoid it, or it's I think we can, but personally, from my own experiences, I think it's inevitable because friendship, like any other relationship, is hard work. It is hard work. You put in work, and so sometimes we may have, like for the context of school, I relate to that. I have had very many people from school, like very many, and very many of them close to me, and for real, relationships being hard work, and you have to commit to. You guys talked about commitment at the beginning. You have to commit to every person, every need, be it emotional, be it maybe financial, be it maybe being there for them. You have to commit to them, and sometimes they can be very many. So I think it's inevitable that some of them are going to drop off, and sometimes you may not have the discipline to go on to each and every one of them, telling them, what, and then giving them a closure. Sometimes you may not have the discipline to do that, but I think it is inevitable, especially if you have met very many people. For example, at work, if you have made friends at work and then you suddenly leave, it is very difficult for you to get in touch with those people, and then catching up, and then when you feel like you don't need them, and then you call all of them for coffee and be like, what, something like that. So I think it's inevitable. That would be my brief contribution.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being so brief. Well, the question, there is someone asking, like, the question is, it's not literally only like, how can it be avoidable? Avoidable? Is that the thing? Avoidable. Yes. English, I'm sorry. Yes, can it be avoidable? It's one of the things, like, because I was just here, like, exactly what Dennis asked, and like, so this is the person you shared much with. Yeah. Imagine probably they are gossiping about you, something like that. Like, there is something going on. Like, it's not just like you suddenly became strangers, but there is even some of other negative stuff that are taking place as a result of that. I'm like, how do you deal with all these things, like a close friends who no longer talks to you and stuff? And I would like people have been there to keep bringing in, because we are almost at the end of the topic, and it has been a good one. Yes. Anyone?
BFA, maybe something on how to deal with this to make sure it doesn't happen. It is, like I said in the first place, it is hard work, but one practical way that at least all of us may know of, or if you don't know, I am now telling you. One practical way is having a circle of friends. The circle may be big, but you have to cut it smaller and smaller and smaller, so that you know that people, like Daphne said, many people may be having that doctrine, but this very person is very close to her, and it haunts her for that person to have that doctrine. So one practical way we can do this is having that circle of friends. You know that these people are my inner circle, and then I have these ones, and then I have the other ones in the bigger circle. So that one helps you to commit and know that I have these 5 people. I am going to invest everything I have, And meanwhile, you also tell them, like, you sit them down and be like, man, you mean a lot to me. This relationship of ours means a lot to me, and if you would accept, we can achieve much. We can both invest in this and see it blossom. And then if they agree and you are on the same page, you can then have a smaller circle that you can actually deal with, you can commit to, you can invest in, so that you're not wasting time. And then this small circle, you can give in and also receive. And even when you don't receive, you know why, because it's easier when you know your people. But when the circle is big, it gets a little different to throw in your investments here and there. You get, and sometimes you don't get feedback and you feel like a stranger because these people are not on the same page. So for me, one practical way I could share with you guys is having a circle of friends, categorizing them on how much they mean to you and how much you mean to them. Yes.
Thank you so much. It has been a good ride. I personally I have learned a lot. Commitment is key. We talked about ego. Sometimes we are just so full of ourselves, and yet we are losing something very valuable. So sometimes it requires humility, and you never know that you could be restoring the friendship. And sometimes you don't need to try things hard. You can try your best, and once it fails, you need to accept that. And this has been amazing.